I'll begin then. Hi, everyone. I am Varunika, and I welcome all of you to this gorgeous Sunday evening. Uh, I know before we begin with the relaunch of the special book that we are all here for. Let me just take a moment and thank all of you for finding time on a Sunday evening, for being with us. It really means a lot. Thank you for your support. Having said that, now, as you all are all aware, we are here for the relaunch of a special book titled Sandstorms, Special Person. Now, there aren't enough words or adjectives to describe the magnanimous and inspirational personality that the author herself is. But I will try. We all know her as an author of not just one book, but 7 books. She is also a life coach, a creative writing coach to many children and teenagers. She is a popular opinion page columnist at the Times, Dubai. She is also a youth motivational speaker. I may have missed out on a few facets or inspiring facets of her life. I think there are so many things that are to her. She's also an active blogger on various platforms. And I think you all have guessed by now, she is our very own Asha Iyer Kumar. Ma'am, I think if you could just come on screen, everybody would want to see you now. Hi, ma'am. Ma'am, I think you're, ma'am, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you very much for that kind of introduction that I still need to believe is about me. That's the words that you spoke were all about.
Oh, the introduction is not over yet, ma'am.
Oh, please, I'm beginning to blush here already. Thank you very much, Varunika. Yes, go ahead.
Now, because I've got this opportunity, there is something I'd like to share with all of you. Whenever I think of her, and I think you all will agree to this, she reminds me, Asha ma'am, you remind me of a lighthouse, you know, the one that is designed with those inbuilt lamps and lenses to serve as a navigational aid at the sea. I mean, aren't you like a lighthouse? You serve like a beacon of hope and love and peace to so many people out there. And help them navigate through their sea of problems, their mundane worries, you know, of everyday life, only by way of your words, not even meeting somebody in person, you know, that's a different thing altogether. Just by way of words, be it your blogs or your articles, your columns, which everybody is privy to, your books. So for me, I think apart from being thrilled and excited, I just feel so privileged and honored to be here in conversation with you, ma'am. I welcome you with a lot of gratitude and a lot of joy. How are you, ma'am? And how are you feeling?
Thank you very much, Varunika. Those were glorious, generous words, and I can't even begin to think that you could speak, these words about me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all the audience there for having made it yet. As Varunika said, it's a Sunday evening with a lot of preoccupation for people to be with family and to chill out and everything. But then you being here, that shows your love for me, that shows how much you care for me and for my writing. And I can't be grateful enough to you all. Thank you, Varunika. I must first say, Varunika herself is a lovely writer, and she's just come out with her first book called Women and the World, an anthology of short stories. And she's one writer to watch out for. Please, yes, she's one person to watch out for. And thank you, Varunika, for being here and hosting this show. I mean, like, I'm so thrilled to have you too. And I'm so thrilled to have these people out here, I mean, it's just that has kept me going all this while, and I've nothing more to say, but thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Uh, now, before we begin this conversation that everybody is so looking forward to, just a few pointers. So we are here for the relaunch of the book. Of course, we will be talking about it at length throughout the session. If at any point of time you feel like there is a question in your head, in your mind, please put it up in the chat box. Anything you would like to tell or probably speak about, please put it up in the chat box. I assure you, ma'am is going to attend to all your questions and queries, hopefully within this session itself. And if at all it happens due to lack of time, she's unable to attend to your questions, then she will answer them separately and tag you on Facebook. So please put up all your questions out there. Two, at all times, I request all of you to please switch off your videos and keep yourself on the mute mode. Otherwise, it'll be some sort of obstruction in the whole session. Three, there was a session, a musical session that was supposed to happen after this. Unfortunately, that stands cancelled due to some personal reasons. Mr. Jamal Pasha could not join us, so we regret the inconvenience caused. Apart from that, I think we're all alive and kicking, and we should all start now. So, ma'am, my first question to you. Sandstorms, Summer Rains was your debut novel. It's a 450 pages magnum opus. I mean, it's that huge and it's brilliant. It took you 4 years, if I'm not wrong, to write it. And 4 years is a huge, I mean, it's a long time. Did it ever get on you, or bog you, it bogged you down, or you felt that okay, that's it, giving it up? At any point you felt like that? How could you stay motivated for like 4 years?
Good question. Yes, this was my first book, and to start off with a novel in the first place was daunting enough, but I think I was a little more adventurous at that point in time. And I don't know, I just got started, and then there were a lot of reasons because of which I couldn't continue writing. It wasn't lack of motivation, it was more of, personal issues, and then job losses, and then relocation and stuff like that, that came in between. But at some point in time, I knew that this was something that I wanted to do eventually. There was no question of giving it up or dropping it midway. So wherever I could pick it up, and I don't know, it's always been something around me that works for me that I need, doing the stuff all alone. So it's just like going on and on. I still remember the last day of, the day I finished the novel. I still remember that it's done, that the done day was such a big day for me because I never thought I could finish it. And I knew that, okay, the story has ended here and the book is done now. Now, it's my baby is made. So I think, the motivation was always there because I didn't want to do it. The question of not completing it was not there at all. 4 years, 40 years that this book was going to happen. So I had already decided that, and that's why I could just keep at it for 4 years.
Kudos to you, ma'am. I mean, writers today are sweating 6 months, 7 months, and they think that, okay.
Right.
So really cool. Hats off to you for holding on the fort for 4 years.
Thank you.
What really inspired you to write about, Sandstorms, Summer Rains? I mean, as a debut novel, especially. I mean, where was the idea coming? How was it born?
Okay, like the earliest memories of people in the Gulf to me are, from a couple of relatives and some friends of my father, once I went to that thing, and I think I need to do something about this screen. Am I on the screen? I don't know. Am I on the screen? Can you all see me on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the screen. Okay. Speaker. Okay. So, my earliest memories were of people who came home, once in 2, 3 years, bearing gifts and everything. We were little kids, and then we used to look forward to it so eagerly because they used to come with these little hampers for us, and then we used to have those um, different kinds of stationery, and then little sprays, and sometimes dress material that really smells so good. It has that typical foreign smell, that we call foreign scent, and then we used to wait so eagerly for those things to happen. And that's when I realized that, this is something that, is a reality for many people. As I started growing, listening to their stories, and I knew that these men were all living alone back in the Gulf, and their families were here, and they used to visit them only once in 2 or 3 years. And I knew about them, but I didn't know much about their lives. So when I relocated after my marriage to the Gulf, I saw more of those people here. I started knowing what life really meant for them. And whatever I had seen previously started, coming back to me. They started resonating with me. And I thought I must write something about them. And let me tell you, Sandstorms Summer Rains is among the first novels to be written in English about Indian immigrants. Okay. Subsequently, many books were written. I think it's no more a new thing for people to write about immigrants. So that's how. So when I came and saw them here firsthand, I thought I must write a story about them, and there were a lot of things that I wanted to express. And then, so one protagonist was not enough, so I made a story with two protagonists. With two different backgrounds and the two different experiences. So somewhere their experiences come together, they merge, and then there's no difference between the two lives. They may go through different experiences, but then in the end, what they feel is the same. Either of disillusionment, isn't or of accomplishment, which often doesn't happen. Money was one major driving force for people to leave their families behind and come here, but then did they eventually find fulfillment? Did they eventually make their lives look successful? Did they really make it by doing it? Was the big question that I always used to ask. Why do they do it? So that's what this book is all about.
Okay. Ma'am, I have read the book, and even the day I was not even halfway. I think the thought that struck me most was, how can somebody based in Dubai, present such a real and a raw image of Mumbai in all the chapters that it surfaced. All the finer details, about how people live here, and I think a lot of you need to mute yourself.
So hard when people don't do it.
Okay, so yeah, all the finer details, about how people live here, and the chores, the description of how they commute, and I just want to know how you managed to create not just such real characters, but the whole setting. I think it was marvelous.
Bombay is a city that's very, very close to my heart. I love Bombay. I still call it Bombay, and I can't still get myself to call it Mumbai. And it's a city that taught me lessons in life. It taught me freedom. It gave me freedom. It taught me what it means to be, navigating and maneuvering through difficulties in life on your own. It was the very first time that I had, stepped out of home. I had gone out of home for my education, but then coming to Bombay was a different learning curve for me. So when I came there and I exposed myself to lots of little things, I think the observation that I made about life there and how different it was, I was awestruck by the way people live there, with, the resilience and the toughness. And I don't know what it is about Bombay that still, holds me in such great awe. And amazing city it is. So I don't know, it just stayed on. It just stayed on with me. Even today, if you ask me to pull out, minutes of my memories, I can do that. Bombay has, I may not be able to do that with Dubai even today, but then with Bombay, I can always go back and get memories pulled out of my, this thing. So
I have to agree, the city just grows on to you.
it does, doesn't it? And I think That's how it was. So watching people and observing things around you was something that was very, very inherent in you. So probably, it uh, worked very well while writing the story. And then I think I was able to bring it to life effectively.
Great. Ma'am, now that we are discussing the book, I think it would be wonderful to hear you read any favorite excerpt of yours from the book. If you could just
Yeah, I'll
pull
do
out a
that.
page or two.
So the context here is of a man who's about to leave his home state in Kerala, hometown in Kerala, and he's just married. Okay, so he's going to leave soon after his marriage, which is a very, very regular, typical thing that happens. I mean, it happens with people in Punjab when they move to UK and Canada and other Western countries. It typically happens with people in Kerala too. So there are two protagonists, Mustafa and Vasu. So Mustafa is just married, and he is going to leave very soon. So this is a scene, from the day of his wedding, okay, on his nuptial night, and let's see how it goes. Okay, I don't get ideas, but it's a very, very poignant scene that I have created here. For those who would like to, buy the book, I think there's the link available on the chat here. Uh, okay. On their nuptial night, it was Mustafa's perfume, an inexpensive cologne spray borrowed from a friend who worked in Bombay, that first attracted her to him, her as his wife, new wife. Although the day-long sweat had turned the odor a trifle acrid and unwholesome. Don't you think it's a little too hot today? Mustafa asked after he came into the room, lit by a lone kerosene lamp. Those were the days, okay? That story is set back those days, 80s and maybe 70s. Saira sat nervously beside him. She pulled the slipping end of the sari over her head and tucked it behind her ears. Little did she know that Mustafa too had heightened senses, feeling her timorous presence next to him. Say something, he began, sensing the silence between them grow taut. What do I say? Said Saira. It was barely a whisper. Do you like me? Mustafa asked it because he had to know. She could say both yes and no. Yes, she said, since she was his wife and it was expected of her to like him. And no, because it was difficult to like someone whom she hardly knew. Hmm, she droned under her breath. She hoped that Mustafa would not ask more questions, and he did not. He merely let moments pass. My visa came yesterday. I had to leave the Saturday after the next, Mustafa then said abruptly. That is in 10 days, Saira counted silently. Where would you like to live after I go, in my house or yours? Asked Mustafa. Wherever you say, said Saira. Mustafa suggested that she could shuttle between the two places. Can't you find work here? Can't you not go? She asked him suddenly, almost beseechingly. Mustafa found her childlike appeal adorable. He wished he could say yes. Instead, he walked up to the window and pushed it open before returning to where he was sitting beside Saira. The window screeched, stirring a stray dog outside the window out of its sleep. It whined in protest before skulking away into the moonlit night. Mustafa reached out to take Saira's hand into his. He was surprised at the ease with which she allowed him to take her hand. I hate to leave you behind, but I must go. Pupa's business has closed down, and he has plenty of debts to clear. Only my going to the Gulf can help him out of this situation. If it is so, can I go too with you? Asked Sarah. I wish I could take you, but the company does not provide for the family. Right now, you have to stay back. I know here it is not like how it is in your house, but I can promise you that Pupa, Uma, and Jamila will never let you feel out of place. That was it. Saira's immediate fate was sealed. She sat still, unsure of what to say next. The sweat in their palms made their clasp clammy, but neither of them tried to let go. They held on, weaving the first threads of familiarity through their interlocked fingers. It was a solemn occasion. So what next happens in Mustafa and Saira's lives, and what happens in the other protagonist, Vasu and his wife, Devaki's life, is what this book is all about. And this I felt was a very, very poignant moment in this story, because the moment when the man has to tell his wife that he is leaving, and then she will have to live without him for the next couple of years, or God knows how long. It's a very, very tough situation for anyone to go through. So I find this to be one of the best scenes that I have written.
Wow. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the rest of the pages and the book. The links have been mentioned in the chat box. Please, you can buy the book from there. Moving on with the other set of questions. Ma'am, because I've read the book, it when I was reading it, it kind of played in front of my eyes like a movie or a web series. Um, do you not get enticed to by these avenues like screenwriting or seeing your work on screen? Uh, have you ever considered that?
No, honestly, no, because it's very, very ambitious of me to consider those things at this point in time. I would love to write, and that's what gives me the happiness and joy, right? So to see my stories on screen will be great, but then I have not yet thought about it. I don't even know if it's possible. I've not even explored the possibilities. So if there's someone who would read my book, and if my book gets really popular enough for people to, adapt it and then to convert it into a web series or a movie, why not? I would willingly be doing it, but then I've not thought about it, honestly. Just one point here, maybe in another 10 minutes time, this meeting would end. And I would like you all to come back to this meeting, because I have the basic Zoom package, and then we cannot continue without disruption. So I would like you all, I'm going to, I think, can we have the second link here, so that you people can just copy paste it somewhere and then come back. I have sent this to you all. I've shared this with you all, so you may probably have to go back and then click on the second link to be here once again for the continuity of the meeting. Yes. So you have the second meeting here, please, in the chat box. If you can all turn your attention to the chat box and see the link there. Yeah.
So we still have some 7.5 minutes or so.
Yes. Yes. Let's go on. I just wanted to, give them a heads up about.
So once this gets over, you'll have to join the other link.
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, you are an author and of so many books, like 7. You're a life coach and a children's writing coach and a blogger, a columnist. There are so many aspects to your personality and your literary journey. Did you imagine all of this in your growing up years? Did you manifest this? And if now that you are at the core of all of this, how does it feel?
Oh my God, no, none of this. None of it was there on my horizon at all. I think things happen. Things have just happen the way they have to, and you just keep walking. I've always believed that you just keep walking, and the way just opens up in front of you. Whichever way you are supposed to walk through will open it in front of you. If you're not supposed to walk on that path, you just find a dead end. When you find a dead end, then you turn around and find something else to do. So that's how I've been doing. Like, no, I didn't think I will become a writer. I wanted to write. I loved writing, but I never thought I'd write books. I never thought I'd become a writing coach. I never ever thought I'd become a youth motivational speaker. I don't know. I just figured this out along the way, and one thing led to the other, and then here I am. I have no clue how this happened. I think for most of us, life is like that. I don't think we may talk of grandiose plans, we may talk about goal setting and everything, but eventually only that happens that will have to happen, that the universe allows to happen. So let's have plans and goals. I'm not against that, but then for me, I didn't set goals, but then I think, I reached milestones just by keeping on walking.
Wow. But as wonderful as this sounds, with so much adulation coming your way and people reading every piece of yours. You have you've started your Khayal series as well, and there are your blogs and the columns that are there, and people read that, and I see the comments. There is so much respect, so much love out there. uh, does it not create a sense of responsibility? Does it stress you? Does it create pressure in the writer, on the writer in you?
Uh, I'm grateful. The first thing that I can think of is gratitude, Varunika. I mean, I do feel overwhelmed, not in the sense of, snowed under by it, but then the emotion that people express, the way they show respect. Being popular is different from being respected. And that's something that I've started feeling in the past few years of my writing. And that kind of moves me a lot. I feel so terribly moved when people come back to me with responses of the kind that I get from various quarters. And yes, I feel overwhelmed with emotion, okay, and gratitude mainly. Pressure and stress, no. Okay. I have a sense of responsibility, yes, and obligation. Why? Because I always commit myself to giving good stuff to my readers. So I always make sure that what I write, even if it's 100 words, should be of value to them. I cannot be writing trivial stuff and get away in the name of, just because I call myself a writer. No, you are not a writer until you write the right stuff. Yeah, you can call yourself anything, but then until you write the right stuff, you're not a good writer. So I have an obligation and a commitment to my readers to write the right stuff and make a difference to them and make them feel that, the 5 minutes they have spent on my article has been worth it, right? So that is there, but pressure, stress, no. Because the moment pressure sets in your writing, the moment you start feeling stressed, you lose your natural creativity. What then happens is that you are now focused more on what people are going to think about your writing than what you want to write. So I even this is something that I want to tell anyone who would want to write or into art or anything creative. Let there not be any stress. I tell my students, whenever I ask them to write, I tell them, don't feel stressed. Don't feel the pressure of my assignments on you. I want you to enjoy them. Unless you enjoy them, you're not going to be really true, honest, and you're not going to write what you feel in your heart. You're only going to think of, oh my God, I have an assignment to complete, or Asha ma'am is going to get annoyed. It's not about Asha ma'am getting annoyed. It's about Asha ma'am wanting you to do well. And you will do well only if you don't do it without pressure. So pressure, I put it aside. I just enjoy doing what I do.
In fact, that was my next question. If any tips for amateurs like me who are entering this literary world with all starry eyed. So
Uh, just try it. I think it's very easy for people have been telling me. They've been telling me for ages. Write not because it's going to bring you anything, but write because it's a passion. But then I'm telling you, at some point in time, it bites you. It starts bothering you that whatever you're doing with so much of commitment and authenticity and everything don't fetch you anything much. Okay, but then slowly I started realizing that I may not get anything in material terms, but then I gain so much respect from people. I get so much love from people. I get so much of acknowledgement from people, and then isn't that enough for me to keep going? So it depends on what you are looking for. What do you want to get out of your work? If you want to, what is your ROI? Okay, my return, if I want popularity, if I want to be on page 3, if I want to be the bestseller, if I want to make more money, if I want to have huge signing amounts, or if I want to have more readers like you all who just come back to me with beautiful, such loving messages about what I have written. So if you decide what you want out of the work that you're doing. The moment you can be very sure about what you want out of your work, I think you've made your way through. That's the only thing I can tell people like you.
thank you, ma'am. I think Purnima ma'am has complimented you You're looking
Okay.
great, which you are.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I have read all your books. So, and I do find that in most of your works, you have mentioned that your dedication is something that um, really intrigued me. You have dedicated most of your work to Krishna. Uh, you say to Krishna who writes for me, for me. So I want to know why you write that, at the start.
So coming back to your question about dedicating it to
Yes,
Krishna.
to Krishna who writes for me.
Uh,
Please tell us about that.
okay, Krishna is only a representation of what I believe makes me right. Okay, so just as we have names, we have forms of you and me and everything, and then we are only representations of something much bigger than this, something much more incomprehensible than this. So for me, it's like the universe works for me. I've always maintained that I don't do anything. Someone comes and asks me, how did you even do it? I mean, most of the time we ourselves realize we don't do a certain thing knowingly, right? If you you're not cognizant about what you have done. It's just happened. You ask pata nahi kaise hua, that sort of a thing is what we always say. So when you say that pata nahi kaise hua, you really know that there is some other force that's working beyond you without your knowing it and out of your control. So that has been my conviction for a very long time, that if I'm doing something, I'm not doing it at all. I'm being driven to do something by a greater, higher force, and I always am indebted. I always capitulate to that higher force, the supreme power that is above me. And Krishna has been a name that we have always, associated with Godhead, and then, the supreme consciousness and everything. And there is some kind of endearment that we always feel with, the name Krishna. So Krishna is for me, for my family, for my sister, for all of us, it's like Krishna is real. It's not like how we think of, Krishna is God, Krishna is this. No, it's about that's something that makes everything happen through me. So if I'm writing, if he doesn't want me to write, I'm not going to write that day. As simple as that. I just drop the pen and then I walk away. I tell you, okay, whenever you are in a mood to write, let me know. I'm going to come and sit here and be your instrument to write. So just before this session today, I just told him, okay, you're going to speak for me. I'm just going to be your mouthpiece, and let me speak whatever you think is the right thing to speak. I don't rehearse my speeches. I don't rehearse my, in the morning, it's only in the morning that I, went through your questions and tried to think, okay, what are things that you're going to ask me? Well, let me get this prepared about what I want to tell them. So it's about that, Varunika. When I say to Krishna and Krishna who writes through me, it's a complete surrender and submission of myself in front of a force that works through me, and I take no credit for it. I take no pride in it. I am completely at the service of something that works through me. So I'm always
Oh, wonderful.
I'm always aware of it and conscious of it. That's what it's about.
Okay. Ma'am, what do you think is most crucial to good writing? Like, what is the most that I mean, there are many, I believe, but what is the most crucial
To me,
point to writing?
to me,
Good writing.
authenticity. One word. Okay. If you're not authentic, you're not writing the right stuff, as I said. A writer has to write the right stuff. What is right and what is wrong is subjective. So that's a different thing altogether. But then, to me, if I have to write the right stuff according to me, then I have to be authentic. Okay. And authenticity comes from here. Okay. Authenticity comes not from here. So there's this very, very favorite quote, of mine that Osho once said, the things of the heart are beautiful, okay, but they are risky. Okay, the things of the heart are beautiful, but they are risky. The things that come from the mind are safe, but boring. Do you get me? Okay, so whatever comes from your mind is safe, but it is boring. Okay, so what I believe is if I have to be authentic, If I have to create something beautiful, it has to come from my heart. Yeah. So I can write stuff that, the market demands of me. I can write stuff that I know is popular. I can write stuff that I really don't believe in. But then what is it going to fetch me? It's not going to fetch me a good night's sleep. Definitely not. So, but when I write authentically, what I feel from my heart, what I want to convey to somebody, not because somebody else is going to like it, but then, yes, I would really like it to reach out and then touch their lives and then, make a difference. But in case I write something that I don't believe in at all, you tell me, I mean, things do happen that time these days, right? People do write things that they don't believe in because, their priorities are different. But I prioritize satisfaction and authenticity and honesty in my writing. So I really hope that my, people see through it and then it gets passed on to my words. So authenticity only, authenticity only, authenticity only. Nothing else.
Wonderful. Point noted, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. So the link, the Amazon link and the Flipkart link is there on the chat box for all of you. Please go through it and buy the book. At this stage, I think we can also. So this is the book, ma'am. Your copy. If you could just.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Let's put it up together.
This is the book.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Sandstorm submarines. I kind of love the cover. It's very, very, it's a very minimalist kind of cover and not too many things. And then, the extended palm stands for something, it represents something. It's very symbolic. And then you have a little bit of sandstorm here. And then they're reaching out for something into the rain. They have an umbrella. Do they make it? What is life like for these men who, leave their shoes and come here? I mean, it's happening still. The funniest thing is it's still. I mean, nothing has changed. What has changed is technology, and technology has made this separation, this going away of men from their families for long periods of time easier. They now talk at least 5 times a day with their families. So probably now, if I were to write this story, I wouldn't be able to come up with a plot of this kind. Maybe the characters in the story may not respond to the way that they have responded in the story. This is a story that is set in a time when letters used to take 15 days to reach from this part of the world to the other. I have written letters to my parents that used to reach 15 days later, and then by the time it reached, most things were like old news, and there was nothing for them to look forward to in it. Maybe a once in a week phone call would have covered all the news. So we lived in those times when people couldn't even reach out to each other to know their well-being and to know how they were doing there. So that's why this story is very important to read in today's times, to know what people were like when we didn't have all these WhatsApp and video calls and everything.
Excellent. Ma'am, okay. Now, as we're approaching the end of the session, any questions you want to ask, ma'am? I think it's all open now. You can ask. She's here. She'll answer all your questions.
Or tell me something about what you like about my writing, what you don't like about my writing, what you expect of me, anything at all. It's your session, and I sincerely wanted to have a musical evening for you all, to make this your program, but unfortunately we didn't have it, but then we'll have it very soon. I think, we've just rescheduled it, and then we'll come back and then have a great evening with music. So do we have questions here? People are finding it very difficult to come back and join. I don't see many questions here. What I would suggest is let's give 2 minutes for people who are trying to join in again. Varunika, can you do that? I don't know. No. That's British. Uh, what inspires you as a teacher, writer, and life coach to write such amazing books and influence so many people? Pritish, Pritish, my boy, he's a student. And what a wonderful student he is. He's in grade 9 now. Pritish, it's people like you, students like you who come to me and then swear by me. If I tell them that I don't want to teach you, if I tell my students I'm not going to teach you, the only punishment I always threaten them with, Varunika, is that if you're not going to do your job well, if you're not going to do a good job, I'm going to throw you out of my class. I'm not going to teach you anymore. So that kind of really scares them, and then it puts them back on track. So Pritish, what inspires me to be a good teacher is the idea that, probably somewhere down the lane, you will remember the things that I have taught you. You will remember the values I have probably put in you. And you will imbibe a few things that I have spoken to you, and be very good human beings in life. I tell my students, be very good aspire to be good human beings first. And then you can be a good doctor or engineer or astronaut or whatever. So Preeti, that's what inspires me, the fact that, whatever I may speak to you or whatever I write, if it can touch somebody and if it can make a difference to them in their lives and make them a better version of themselves, or, you know, I think I have done my duty. So that's what inspires me, Pritish. Okay. Mr. Pramesh Nair, she is my friend's father, Anita's father. How does the process of making up characters work? Okay, this is Anita. Making up characters, Anita, we don't have characters are all real life. Okay, let's be very clear about that. We can have fantasy characters, but then what do fantasy characters do? They exactly do the same thing that we as human beings do. They may look different, they may belong to a different world, but their characteristics, their behavior may all be very, very similar to us. We are a mixture, we are a combination of the good and the bad. And we have good and the bad in different, at different levels, in different measures. So I create characters that are inspired by the different people that I come across. So it's not just about one person, one character that I have in a story may not be just based on just one person that I have met. It may be an amalgamation of different people that I have met. Yeah. So the process of making up characters is like, what would this person as a character XYZ do in a particular situation? If it were me, it were you, it would be something different. It was I, then somebody would react differently. So character building process is not immediate. It's something very, very progressive, and it's very gradual. So every story has a character arc, which is something that I was talking to Varunika about the other day. So you will have to make your characters really relatable. You can have characters, whom you can say that कभी जिंदगी में ऐसे लोग तो होते नहीं है, जिंदगी में हर तरह के लोग होते हैं, दुनिया में हर तरह के लोग होते हैं. It's just that you have not met them. So every character can be realistic. Every character can be made to look as if they belong to our world. So it takes a while for me to really figure out what is this character capable of doing in this story, and why would he do it is a very important question. And that's what drives my character ahead in the story. Have read your first book. That's my cousin, my brother, Ravi Chandran. Have read your first book and loved it. Would reading your recent one keep me clued on? I didn't get the meaning. Would reading your recent one keep me clued on? The older
Maybe
book.
your upcoming book.
Yes, no,
Is
he's
there a
talking
book?
about.
I
No,
think there is a book coming.
no, he's already read the first version of it, so he's asking me, would it make sense for him to read the second version? I think yes, because the first book was massive. I'm wondering how I even ventured something like that. 1,000 to 120,000 words, and now it's been pared down to about 70, 80,000. No, I think 80 or 85,000 words. So it's a crispier version of the earlier story, and I'm sure reading the book again would bring back memories of the story, and I think it's a thoroughly readable and the second read is always welcome, yes, you can go for it. It's definitely worth a second read. Ranjini Gangadharan, hi ma'am, it's a delight to read your Khayal series. Now my favorite songs I see with an enduring perception. Uh, I love these people in English. Okay. Uh, Now my favorite songs I see with an endearing interpretation. What inspired you to write this? Ranjini, actually, to be very honest, it just occurred to me one fine day. I don't know. I have this habit of listening to one song before I go to sleep every night. And it's one of the favorites. They may have been repeatedly listened to and they're not anything new. But then I suddenly picked this song and then I said, okay, I'm going to listen to this song. I just want to take this song back to my sleep tonight. And when I listen to those songs, I feel that there's so much more to that song. And in the quietness of night, when I listen to it, I feel that there's so much more to that song than just the tune that we always get enamored by. We always get attracted to the tune and the music and everything, right? And then if you have even a lovely visual to go with it, and we often tend to take the lyrics a little seriously. Yeah. And we don't think what those lyrics were meant to be and why the lyricists must have written. Most lyricists are very, very, they're wonderful poets who come up with real profound thoughts about life and love and different things. So when I felt that, it's important for us to know why we love a certain song, except not for the music of it, and I love poetry. I love the intricacies of poetry. I love the poignancy in poetry. That's why, why not try to deconstruct the lyrics and present them to people who love these songs and tell them, look, there's a lot more to this song than what you have already experienced. Now get into the song, feel it in your bones, and then live the song. I do it, and the joy it gives me is immense. So I just wanted to share that joy with you all, and that's why I came up with Ranjini. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, okay. Jessica. Jessica, another brilliant, brilliant student of mine. How much has writing affected the way you look at things in your life? Uh, Jessica, writing and looking at life, they are, they're mutually dependent. They're inclusive, mutually inclusive, in the sense that unless you look at things in life in a particular way, you will not be able to translate them into your writings. Okay. So what is important, like I tell you in your classes, is that it's very important for you to have perspectives. It's very important for you to have observation. It's very important for you to look at things and think of what do I think about it. So those perceptions are naturally, converted to your things. Okay. Now, how has writing affected the way I look at things? When I know that I'm going to write something about a certain topic, I know that I need to look at that topic in a very objective way. Okay. I may have subjective opinion about it. Okay, but I need to look at it very objectively in the sense that it should connect with people who are reading it. I may feel a certain thing about it. Right. But then do other people feel the same thing is something that I need to really consider. Yeah. So I cannot be just going on writing my opinion and then, plugging it onto people and imposing it on people. So I always like to think around and then think, okay, my writing has to be about things in life which will make sense to people. I don't know if this really makes sense to you, Varunika, as a writer. But then when you write something, when you decide to write something, you will have to look at what you're going to write and think that this thing is not about what I feel. This thing is about how it might feel for a majority of people out there. Does it really appeal to them, to their, sensibilities? Yeah, so that way, Jessica, writing has affected my way of looking at things very objectively. I don't look at things very subjectively now. I may feel good about something, I may feel bad about something. Doesn't matter. My good and bad, my right and wrong will be put aside. I will look at it in a very different view from the time I have been writing. That's what I do. Yeah, I have some more questions here. At what age did you start writing first? My first poem, I think, Anita and I. Anita and I are a very good friend of mine once again. I haven't met. Honestly, most of these people who are my friends now, who come back to me with these very beautiful compliments and responses, I haven't met most of them. I haven't met most of them. And it's my dream, that someday when I would come to India, we would all have a get together where all my readers would come and we would have a gala party. So Anita, at what age did you start writing first? I wrote my first poem when I was 12. And you would believe 12 is not an age to start at all. I think it's very late. You must see the kind of things that my students write these days. Oh gosh, 10, 12, 15, they come up with such stuff. Okay, I started writing at 12, my first poem, and then it was slow and steady. And slowly I started writing things about cockroaches and, things that scare me and flowers and those, little things that you write in when you're 12 or 13 or 14. And it just went on and on. Yeah. Yeah, what a lovely question, Jessica. Varunika said. Ranjini asks, should our writing express our perceptions or should it be according to a reader's perception? Ranjini, we never know what a reader's perception is. That's the truth. Okay, and our perception of something is something that we know. Okay, you can always write your perception, but without being very aggressive about it. It's very important for us not to be, uh, very attached to our opinion. We have an opinion. I send my opinion out. Whether it's for you to receive it, accept it, and to adapt to it is up to you. Okay. Most of the problems start when I stick to my opinion and I think that it is the only opinion. It is the only correct opinion, not necessarily. Not necessarily. So you write your opinion, Ranjini, and just leave it at that. Okay, don't try to think if people are agreeing to it. They may not. The world, consists of different kinds of people and they all think very differently. We don't have problems in the world if we all thought in the same way, right? So stick to your perception, but don't be aggressive about it. Don't be very attached to your opinion. Just let them free. That way, you'll be able to do both. All right. Do we have anything more? Anybody else ask me something? But you want to say something about, what you expect of me, what more you want me to do, and I don't know. I'm just here for you all. Honestly, I always think that I'm not a great, I'm not a bestseller, and I don't hit the headlines much. But then I'm very happy to be here in the midst of you people who love my writing and to just get going with.
If no one is asking, I'll ask one more question.
Yes, Varunika, always.
You're working on something, right? These days, you started your next book, I think.
That's a secret.
No?
That's a secret between you and me.
Oh. No, I read that on Facebook. You had mentioned that you've written something.
Okay. I have started something and I really don't know. There are days when I can write 5,000 words at a stretch, and there are days that go by without writing anything at all. And yesterday I was just thinking, I need to get back to it. Yes, I think I will be able to finish it by next September. Come September. I mean, there's something about September, that keeps me kicked. Last 4 or 5 years, I've had a book launch every September. So if everything goes well, yes, so everything goes well, and if my muse works in my favor, fingers crossed, we may have another novel. They say novel is dying. I have no clue if that is true. They say novel is dying, and fiction is not going to be, accepted as it used to
So
be.
how difficult is it to, because I found it extremely hard to, to write a blog side by side, so managing blog writing and your columns along with the book. Uh, I mean, is it easy? How do you balance it all? Like,
No, they are, you put them in compartments actually. You don't mix issues at all. Like when you're writing a blog, you have a certain idea that strikes you, and you know that this is suitable only for a blog. I cannot make a column out of this. So if I have to write for Katie, I have to write for Kalisha. I know that this is an opinion page requires me to write in a certain style. And I know that I need to stick to that style, and there are certain topics that I cannot probably write in that column. So I put myself in that compartment when I'm writing. Okay, when I'm writing my novel, I know that this is something that will stretch for a long period of time, and this is a long story. So I need to think of it in little bits and portions because I'm going to write little scenes. I'm going to write about the small little details. I'm going to go take the story through the smallest threads possible, right? So I have to, I have to really practice. You also, if you have to do that, you have to practice shifting modes. When you're writing, you will have to tell yourself, okay, this is just a post on Facebook. So this is going to take another 15 minutes for me to write. Or if you're going to write a blog, maybe this is going to take another hour or an hour and a half. So when you have decided that in your mind, then your style automatically falls in place. That's how I've been doing it this while.
okay.
Okay. Anything else? Is there anybody else asking? I think many people were not able to come back. I don't know what the reason was, but whatever it was, try again. I can't hear anything. I'm just taking a look at the messages that I'm getting here. Okay. Do we have time left for anything? No. How much time do we have? It's only 5 minutes that we have, right? Okay, I think we can wind up at with that. I think so. Yeah. 5 minutes. Yeah, we have 5 minutes. Anybody else with a question that you want to ask me? My students,
Can
anyone
we
who
have the
out there?
links again? The Flipkart and Amazon
Yes,
links.
yes. So in case you see some other Sandstorm summer rain on Amazon, please make sure that that's not the one that you are placing an order
Is the
for. This is the one, that dark blue one. Okay, that's the earlier one is out of print in many places, but then don't even try that. Okay, it's here. And for those who cannot save the links, please just go to Amazon India, Amazon.com, and Asha Iyer Kumar, Sandstorms Submarine, and voila, you'll get it. Yeah.
and buy all the books. All of them are great.
Thank you, Varunika.
I would do that.
Thank you, Varunika. Yeah, I would love you all to read all my books, and I promise to bring you some good stories in future. That's all I'm here for. I don't know how far I'm going to make it on this journey, but then you've been with me. Okay, Kelsey, this is too good. Keep writing. Thank you very much, Sheila, Murali. Yes, I plan to keep Khayal series going. Yeah, and if you all have Farmaish, okay, I am taking your songs. So it's not just about the songs that I love. If there is some song that you people like and you would like me to write about it, I'm more than happy to take it up. So let me know. I'm there on Facebook. I'm there very, very infrequently on Instagram, but Facebook is the place for you to reach out to me. And that's it. Okay. You also deal with writer's block, Ranjini. Very honest answer to this, Ranjini, is that writer's block is something that we all have imagined and given a lot of importance, unnecessary importance to. What we go through are phases, periods in life when you're just not inspired to write because of something else. Maybe there's something else that's keeping you busy. There's something else that's keeping you away from your creative juices and everything. So it's not a blog. It's just about how you think about it. If you think I'm in a blog, then you're never going to get out of it. And here is something that I can tell you when you feel you are in a blog. Sit down, start writing. Don't think what you're writing about. Write your first sentence. Put it down And then you see that you just have a vague idea what you want to write about. You want to write about a shitty day that you had at work today, just start with that. You want to write about a fantastic recipe that you followed, and then your kid turned out to be one of the best. Sit down and write about it. You will see that the first sentence will lead you to the second sentence. The second will lead you to the third, and the third will lead you to the fourth. And before you realize, you have a paragraph. And that paragraph is inspiration enough, motivation enough for you to keep continuing. So writer's block is something that we are giving undue weightage to, and I think we shouldn't be doing that. There's nothing to do with that sort of job. That's what I believe. Thank you, Ranjini. That was a very good question, because a lot of people do go through writer's block and then they make a huge deal out of it. I feel we shouldn't. Just continue to write. So is that all?
Yeah, I think that should be all. Anybody else who wants to say something? Now is the time, I think. 2 minutes remaining. So otherwise we'll, I think, just close it with this book. This is Sandstorms, Summer Rains. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. Please get your copy from Amazon, Flipkart, Google it, you'll find it there. And thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful, wonderful session.
Yeah.
And for answering so many questions and so beautifully.
Thank you very much. There's one message that's coming from my sister Sujata, who's in the US. She says, "Phulon ka taron ka sabka kehna hai, 1000 mein meri behna hai." Reciprocate that sentiment, Suju. Thank you very much for being such a wonderful, wonderful sister, and for sitting up with me all the time. I tell you, Varunika, I tell you, when I tell you, having a sister is the best thing in the world. Having two daughters is the best thing in the world, and
I agree.
mean it. I mean it, when your girls grow up, they will tell you that they have never needed another friend in life because you have a sister. Thank you, Suju, for being here, and thank you for being a part of my everything in life, my highs and my lows and my everything. Thanks to my husband, Hemant Kumar, who has been with me for every cranky thing that I do in his life. I freedom that he has given me to pursue whatever I have wanted. And to you all of you who have, I don't know what I've done without you all. I really don't know. You've made my writing so much richer and fulfilling. Thanks so much.